Hello and welcome back again to another series from We Play. As you might see, okay, maybe not, today we are going to do a playthrough of the Castles of Burgundy. This is from the more or less, I think it's right now a genius, I would call him, Stefan Feld, who is the designer of this game. It's not that fresh anymore, but I think it's really still absolutely great. So this is definitely one of my most famous economical Euro game, and I'm really happy to show this to you, and hopefully you will enjoy that as well as I do. Good thing about Castles of Burgundy, this is really more or less an international version, so there are no event cards or stuff like that that needs to be translated. It even says here on the box that the English rules are included. So this is definitely much easier for me to play through this one, as I do not have to do any translations for cards or fields or stuff like that. As usual, I will have a look inside the box. I show you what ships with Castles of Burgundy, and I think then I might introduce you a little bit to the rules here. And then, of course, as usual, we just go on playing, and I think I will do that as a two-player game in this time, because Burgundy really plays well with two players. To be honest, I don't really play it with too many players here, because really there might be really some downtime in thinking and so on. So if you really play this game with heavy thinkers, this might really take some time. The box says it's 30 to 90 minutes. To be honest, I never played it even with two players below maybe 60 to 70 minutes, I have to admit. So maybe I'm a heavy thinker as well here. I try to keep not to think too much here in this game. Really, I would want to concentrate on the rules and how it plays and stuff like that. So don't expect any high strategic decisions from me. I will play as it goes, and yeah, just to give you a good impression of the game. And now let's have a look what's inside the box. So, some rules. So these are the German rules, there are also French rules, then there are the promised English rules as well. So very nice. Then there are these player boards. So as you might see, these are double-sided. I have to be careful because I already do have some extensions from Spielbox, who really nice provided some nice additional player boards here, as you can see that here. So these normally do not ship with a standard edition of this version. This is cool, just an add-on to give you some new flavor to the game, with some new positions of the terrain tiles here and so on. So these are the player boards as mentioned, so, and with the addition really I have plenty of those, as you might see, and they're all double-sided, so more than enough. Then there is the central game board, so some kind of a market, and typical for the Euro style, you have the victory points counter surrounding the game board. As mentioned, these are the different market tiles where you can buy off different tiles, and later on I come to that later. There are these knowledge things and additional goals, ships, and of course also the starting player will be decided here. Also typical for a Euro style game, the starting player always needs to be earned, or the right for the starting player needs to be earned somehow, so you have to spend something to get that advance. There are some goods where you can store them later on, and some tiles you can buy here off in the middle section, but I explain that later. Then of course plenty of dice. These player figures basically, so it's more or less one for the victory points, and one for placing that on your board. Then the different terrain tiles, so you have some nice I think farm tiles here with some pigs, some cows, castles. These are no, not this one. Let me show you if I find something. No, this is a building, for example. and stuff like that. These are the worker tokens. These are very important, and these are really great. This is definitely a great idea, but I'll explain that later, to really reduce the amount of luck a little bit in the game. So these workers can allow to adjust the dice roll. Basically, it's a good idea about that one. Then you have these tokens. Then the goods, as I mentioned. As you can see, I was not very good in ordering these pieces, so I missed that last time we played that, I have to admit, so not sure where the bags are. But I will come to that, and I will now prepare the game setup. So I will set up 2-player game. I think I will be using the basic tiles from the game, so not from the extension. And yeah, as soon as I have prepared the game setup, I think we can then get started to explain you some rules. So, see you soon. So, this is the starting setup for Castles of Burgundy, and let me show you, this might take a while. So, every player gets a player board, a unique player board. Oh, not really unique in this example, really both players are starting off with the same fiefdom, I would call that here. So player board here, it's similar to that player board here. Every player has, of course, starts at 0 victory points. Every player gets 2 dice of its color. There's another marker for him that we need later on. The next thing then is the let me show you this. These are the goods that have been drawn randomly. So these are the goods for the blue player, and as you see, these are 3 different colors. On the top left you see the starting money, basically it's some silver currency here we have here. The same goes for the red player, also starts off with one of these silver currency, but he also drew 3 random good tiles, but as you see, he drew 2 purple, so these are being stacked on his storage here, more or less. So everything else, as you might see, is the same. So he's the red player, so 2 red dice. There is 1 white dice that we might need later on. For the first turn, I still need to do some further preparations. I show you that in a minute. So there are basically the stock for the workers, for the buildings, for the castles, knowledge tokens, for the farm tiles, the ship tiles, and so on. But this is now something I explain when I do the first turn here. This is the reserve for the market tiles or for the goods. These are being placed on a order here from A to E, as you might see, though this is also turn based, so these are being let's say played as soon as they come there. And these are some bonus plates that you also can achieve during the game. So there's one for the first player and for the second player, so a big one and a small one. The same here for the different kinds of tiles. So for ship there's one, for knowledge, for buildings, and so on. But I also explain that as I play. Yeah, this was more or less the starting setup. So I will now prepare the first turn and then explain you what all the tiles are. And I think then we can get started. So first let's determine the starting player. This is a bit untypical for Eurogames, so we have to roll a die for that. So each player needs to roll a die for that. But yeah, someone needs to start, so this is decided by a dice roll. So let's do that for the blue player now. This would be a 4 for the blue player. This would also be a 4 for the red player. I played fair, so we roll that again. So 3 for blue and 2 for red. So the blue player would be now the starting player. For that he gets 1 starting bonus of 1 worker. Whereas the second player always gets 2 worker tiles. So this is something to get around the unfairness of the dice roll. The third player would get 3 workers and the fourth player would get 4 workers. So this is something to avoid unfairness for this for this dice rolling here. Okay, so I think then we can get started with a blue player, and he can start off with the first turn. Each turn follows the same procedure. Though first of all, normally you would need to discard any tiles that are still on the main board here. Of course, apparently for the first turn there are no tiles to remove, so we can skip that step. Then we would fill up all the depots here that you can see. So let's start off with a black depot in the middle, and you see a little 2, for example. So these are the only depot fields that are valid for a 2-player game. So for the middle black depot we draw now 4 of these tiles. There's also a black dot, as you can see, to make you aware, okay, hey, these come from the black spot here. So let's place them on the appropriate fields here. So I explain the cards later on, or the tiles later on. So now let's do the same for the remaining of all the depots around the game board here that has the number 2 of that. Let me do that quickly. So as everything is placed now, we are going to check now for what we have here. So maybe I try to make it really quick. So we have a warehouse here. This is something that allows you, when you place it in your fiefdom or on your player tile, to instantly sell one pile of your goods here. Then there is a ship that you can buy. The ship can put you further on the starting player tile. This is the only way how you can get starting player if you're right now not. Additionally, you gain goods from any depot. So this is definitely something very nice. Then there are these knowledge tokens. This knowledge token, for example, shows you that you are allowed now to place one of the same buildings in one city. Normally within a city. So for example, let me show you. So this would be a city, this would be a city. Normally you're allowed only to place one kind of a building in a city. So they are not allowed to place 2 warehouses in one city. With this knowledge tile, when you place that in your fiefdom, you're allowed to do so. Then you can place another castle. This allows you instantly, when you place it, to gain another move. And this move is more or less really like a wild card. So it's just like you have rolled another die, and with any number, your choice. Then there is this farm tile here. These are 4 hens, basically. I explain it also later, so this needs to be placed somewhere. You get victory points for that. Then this is a building. Let me just check this. This is the boarding house. The boarding house allows you to draw instantly 4 additional workers when you place that on your fiefdom, which is good. Then there is, oops, let me just focus that a little bit. So this is the church. The church allows you to take 1 mine, knowledge or castle tile from any numbered depot, but not from the black depot. That's important, so not from the middle region here. And there is another ship. I explained that. This is another knowledge token. This knowledge token is relatively good. It tells you when you are using 1 die for selling any good in your storage pile. Normally you only get 1 silver for this action, but with this knowledge token you also get another worker in your repository, which is good. Then there is a mine. A mine normally does not have a direct effect on the game, but it allows you to draw 1 silverling after each phase for each mine. So this is a great way to increase your income here. There's another farm tile, also a hen. And there is another building. This is the city hall. And the city hall allows you to immediately place a tile on your fiefdom from your repository of tiles here below that. But I come to that later. So this is what is currently on the market. Let me scroll back a little bit. So, and this is really for the first phase will stay the same. So there are 5 phases, as you see. So here from A to E, we are now in phase A. And after all these are being, and each phase consists of 5 rounds. These 5 rounds are represented here by these 5 goods. And the market here is only restocked after a phase. So really you have to use these tiles here very wisely, because they are not restocked very often. So what happens now? The starting player, being the blue player right now, rolls all 3 dice, so his personal 2 dice and the white die. I explain what that is. So let's do that first. First thing that happens, we will resolve the white die. So this means take the topmost of these goods here and place it on a depot with a corresponding number. So here's a 6, there is a 6. Nothing else happens here. So this depot is now in place. This might be important for later on. Then he has rolled 2 6s. They can be used later on, or basically just now, to do the appropriate actions. And now let's do the same for the red player. So it's a 5 and a 3, and these are the 2 dice that the red player has available for his turn. And now it's again the starting player, so he does both actions more or less first, and then the red player would do his 2 turns.